fog rolls back for just a heartbeat, and that is when you see it. 2 tons of muscle, low to the frozen ground, already moving. A head swinging a single curved horn, longer than your arm, its tip worn smooth from a lifetime of sweeping snow. It does not slow, it does not bluff. The beast has caught your scent on the wind, and it is coming straight at you. And you are standing in the open, with nothing but a wooden spear. This is not a movie. For tens of thousands of years, on the frozen steppe of Ice Age Europe, this was a nightmare your ancestors knew well enough to paint on the walls of caves. The animal in the fog is Coelodonta antiquitatis, the woolly rhinoceros, and almost nothing on the entire mammoth steppe was more dangerous to a human on foot. So be honest about your odds. This animal weighs as much as a small car, wrapped in thick skin and shaggy fur, with a front horn that could be a meter long. You cannot stop it. You cannot outrun a charging rhino across open ground, and meeting 2 tons of armor head-on with a stick is simply a way to die. So how did your ancestors ever bring one down? Here is the first surprise. Most of the time, they didn't even try. The proof is painted on the rock itself. When the biologist Ardale Guthrie studied the great galleries of Ice Age art, he noticed something strange. Among thousands of painted animals, woolly rhinos are rare, and almost none of them are shown with spears or arrows in their bodies. Compare that to the horses, deer, and bison drawn with wounds again and again. The message across the centuries is clear. With so much safer prey on the steppe, your ancestors mostly left the rhino alone. It was too big, too armored, and too willing to charge. And just how willing it was, the artists captured in paint. In the Chauvet Cave in France, discovered in 1994, and holding some of the oldest art on Earth, there are around 60 rhinos, including a breathtaking scene of 2 of them facing off, horns locked, fighting. These were animals built for violence. Their horns, made of keratin like your fingernails, were studied under the microscope by the researchers Chernova and Kirilova, who found a structure unusually resistant to cracking, a weapon designed to take the shock of a head-on collision. The creature was first given its scientific name back in 1799 by the naturalist Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, who studied a set of ancient bones and realized they belonged to an animal no living person had ever seen. He called it the rhinoceros of antiquity. Beneath that shaggy coat sat a hump packed with fat, fuel for the brutal winters, and a low-slung head that swept its great horn across the snow to reach the frozen grass underneath. So the rhino was best avoided, but sometimes, for its meat, its thick hide, and above all that magnificent horn, your ancestors decided the risk was worth it, and when they did, they never met it in a fair fight. They made the ground do the killing. Picture it. You do not chase the rhino, you study it. You learn the narrow trail it walks to water, the gap it squeezes through between 2 deep drifts of snow, and there, on that exact path, your group digs. A pit, deep, steep-walled, wider than the animal is long. You line the bottom with sharpened stakes. You lay branches across the top, then grass, then a dusting of snow, until the trap simply vanishes into the white. Then you wait for the rhino to come. And when it does, you spring the second half of the plan. From a safe distance, your group rises out of the landscape, shouting, waving burning branches, closing in from the sides. The rhino, with its small eyes and poor sight, panics. It does what it always does when it feels cornered. It charges, head down, straight ahead, straight along its own trail, and straight onto the hidden pit. The ground gives way. 2 tons of beast crashes down into the trap, the stakes and the fall, doing what no spear in the open ever could. Now, and only now, do the sticks come out. From the rim, far above the reach of that horn, the spears rain down. And then comes the hardest part of all. You stop and you wait, letting time and blood loss finish the giant you could never have faced standing up. And the reward was extraordinary. Not just meat and hide to survive the winter, but the horn itself. At the hyenas site in the Siberian Arctic, archaeologists found spear throwers, atlatls, carved from woolly rhino horn some 27,000 years ago. The very weapon that helped humans conquer the Ice Age was in part built from the beast they feared most. At other sites, like Königsau in Germany and the Chauvet Cave in Austria, rhino bones lie cracked open and scored with cut marks, smashed for the rich marrow inside. But here is the twist that the bones reveal. For all your ancestors' cleverness, they were never the woolly rhino's greatest enemy. It shared the steppe with them for tens of thousands of years and outlasted them again and again. Cave hyenas hunted it far more often than people ever did. The rare human kills, the cut-marked bones, the handful of speared rhinos in the cave art, they are the exception, not the rule. So what finally destroyed the woolly rhino? Not a pit, not a spear, the weather. As the last ice age loosened its grip around 14,000 years ago, a warming pulse swept the north. It brought more rain and deeper snow, and the low, frozen grasslands the rhino depended on slowly gave way to shrubs and trees. An animal perfectly built for a cold, open, frozen world suddenly had no world left to live in. The last of them died out on the cold plains of Siberia and the Urals around 14,000 years ago, beaten not by any hunter, but by a thaw. So picture the fog rolling back one final time and 2 tons of horn already charging out of it. Remember what your ancestors understood in their bones. The most dangerous beast of the Ice Age was the one you were clever enough to trap and wise enough, most days, to leave alone. And in the end, the thing that brought it down was never your spear. It was the thawing of the world.